through all the names. I went there about 11:30. He wasn't there, frankly. There was an elderly man who was an ex-Roman Catholic. He said non-practicing. I said that was good. And he said, and the lady by the side of the next church named her. So I thought, well, let's look at a few things from what our Bible says compared to what their Bible says, so then we can be able to challenge them if they knock on our doors. And then with the other gentleman, me and Tony saw in the garden, just how we can prove what we believe, proving what we believe. So, first of all, Psalm 119, 1 John. And Tony, if you can look it up, please. Psalm 80, that was a JW. There were 22 verses for the 22 letters of the alphabet.
Blessed are the undefiled in the way, who walk in the law of the Lord.
Yeah. That very first word is blessed, because I remember doing the Hebrew, it's ashrei. And the first 8 letters of Allah begin with A, the next 8 begin with B, the next ones begin with G, Gimel. So it has to start with an A, and that is blessed. So many of you can say what these JWs put?
Happy are the ones faultless in their way.
That's fine, that's enough. So happy. They've changed the word blessed, which is a very biblical Judaism word, and turned it into happy. Well, anybody can be happy. A sinner can be happy. That isn't blessed. Okay? So that was the first one we came to that was wrong. It's happy and not properly. It's blessed. And that's a big one to make a mistake because it actually begins with an A. Ashrei. Blessed. The next one was Mark 11:26. Can you do that one as well, John or Derek?
Yeah.
Mark chapter 11:26.
You do not forgive, neither will your Father, which is in heaven, forgive you your trespasses.
And what does it say there, John?
Nothing at all. We've gone from 24 to 27.
Yeah, they've taken that.
25 and 26 is missing.
Yeah, that's important, okay? The Alexandrian text which that comes from, a lot of it,
That's outrageous.
is different to the proper ones. Because it's very important. If you can't forgive your brothers, how can God forgive you?
Yeah.
And they've taken that out. That's a big thing.
That's a biggie, that is.
So that's one to remember if they knock on the door. Why have you taken Mark 11:26 out? Because that's all about forgiveness. That's in the Lord's Prayer, isn't it? Okay, Sheila, Acts 8:37, please.
And Philip said, If thou believest with all thine heart, thou mayest. And he answered and said, I believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God.
Yeah, so before he gets baptized, he has to believe in his heart that Jesus Christ is the Son of God. What they teach, as John said before, isn't that union. So, if you can read what it says in 8:37, please, Tony.
All I got is 2 crosses and the Son of God circled.
That was me remembered when I first found that.
All I got is a line, if that's gone as well.
That's gone as well, so
Yeah?
the Son of God's
Gone.
taken out. Because they have to prove their theology, so they make the Bible fit the theology, don't they?
That's terrible, isn't it?
Okay?
Sure.
Derek, 1 John 5:7, please.
For there are they that bear record in heaven, the Father, the Word, and the Holy Ghost, and these 3 are one.
So there are 3 that bear witness in heaven, the Father, the Word, or the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Anyone got into different versions of that? What have you got, Nancy? 1 John 1:5-7? 1 John.
RSV.
1 John 5:7.
And it is the Spirit who bears witness, because the Spirit is the truth.
Okay. Go back a bit.
That's yours.
NASB. What does yours say, Pat?
5, 7.
5-7.
Well, there are 3 that bear record in
Yeah.
heaven: the Father, the Word, and the Holy Ghost. And these 3 are one.
3 or 1.
Awesome.
That's very, very, very. I couldn't emphasise enough how important that is. Now, Tony, you'll give us the JW version, please.
For there are 3 witness bearers. That's it. Don't tell you who it is. You've got to guess, I suppose.
There are 3 witnesses, yeah.
That's it. That's all you got.
There are a number of versions that leave out.
So that's a big, strong. The 3 are one. You know, unity of God the Father and the Holy Spirit. Right. Now, where were we to? Matthew 5:21-22. These are what Jesus was saying to them, isn't he?
Matthew 5.
5:21-22.
After the
21, 22. Said in their old time, thou shalt not kill, and whosoever shall kill shall be in danger of the judgment. But I say unto you, that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment. And whosoever shall say to his brother, Raca, shall be in danger of the council. But whosoever shall say, Thou shall be in danger of hellfire.
Yeah, so I don't like that 'cause it says kill instead of murder, because the Hebrew is actually, and the Greek is actually murder is more specific, because they did kill people. But it's that whoever does it gets angry with his brother. That's often quoted, isn't it? You shouldn't even be angry with him. But it says without a reason or without a cause. What does it say about, Tony?
You heard that it was said to those of ancient times, you must not murder. But whoever commits a murder will be accountable to the court of justice. However, I say to you that everyone who continues wrathful with his brother will be accountable to the court of justice.
They've taken out the without a cause.
Yeah.
If someone murdered your baby, you've got a cause to be angry with them, haven't you? Do you know what I mean? It's not just carte blanche. It's,
The New King James actually says murder.
it says murder, yeah. Then, now see Matthew 5:27-28, please.
And you have heard that it is said, You shall not commit adultery. But I say to you that everyone who looks on a woman to lust for her has committed adultery with her already in his heart.
Yeah, with a woman. That's important. It's a woman, not a maiden. Do you know what I mean? A pre-married bachelor looking at a pre-married maiden wanting to marry. That's not wrong. But you shouldn't be looking at a woman because she's already someone else's. Do you know what I mean? It's like the adultery side of it. It's the eyes of adultery instead of the eyes of. So what does it say there, Tony?
It says here, you hear that it was said you must not commit adultery. But I say to you that everyone that keeps on looking at a woman so as to have a passion for her has already committed adultery with her in his heart.
Yeah, that's not too bad actually.
That's what I mean. That's about as close.
That's not too bad. It was the NIV that came out. When I was checking these through, the NIV was less specific on that, so that's not bad. Right, Matthew 24:15. Please. Ali, is 24:15?
Yeah.
Matthew 24:15.
Therefore, when you see the abomination of desolation spoken of Daniel the prophet, standing in the holy place, whoever reads, let him understand. Is that Matthew 24:15?
That's fine. So I was saying to him, he said there's no temple going to be built. I said, yes it is, because in Matthew, it says when you see the abomination of desolation in the holy place, of which the prophet Daniel spoke. I said, if you go to Matthew 24:15, which Annie just read, And what does it say there, Tony?
Therefore, when you catch sight of the disgusting thing that causes desolation, as spoken of through Daniel the prophet, standing in a holy place, let the reader use discernment.
Yeah, it's not quite the same, is it?
No.
Sorry?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that was a few things. That was a few things about the temple and where they've got their scripture on, right? Does anybody know where it says where they will rebuild the temple? The Jews will rebuild the temple prior to Christ's return. If a JW said to me, or you, prove where that is, where would we go to?
Jerusalem.
Yeah, no, where would we go to in Scripture to prove that?
Ezekiel.
Ezekiel, John, yeah. Ezekiel 48 tells you who goes where, and the preceding chapters tell you how it's built. So, if they say there's no temple, you just go to Ezekiel 48. And their own Bible is actually quite clear that it does get built, do you know what I mean? That's the strange thing about it. So, another couple of things was they believe Jesus came in 1914, but he came invisibly. Alright? And by the time we finished talking, when he did turn up at 1 o'clock, and we had a good old talk with him, he was quite wobbly, I must admit. He realised that he's looked at a few watchtowers in the past and not been quite sure about them, but he's thought, you know, the watchtower people have put it right on it. So they are wobbly, they're not solid. And they've got under 10 million people, and that's not growing at all. As many people are coming in the front door, they're going out the back door. And they've just sold their big expensive place in Bath, in Guinea Lane, to get some money. And he said it's because we can build more places with them in Africa, but I think they've demotivated some of the congregations.
They're actually flooding Africa, Mark.
Yeah, they are, because they're not getting anywhere near anymore.
That's what I'm saying, yeah, people have voiced up to them, haven't they?
Yeah.
That's what it is, that they discerned that, you know, they're false.
So, that was the temple. The only other thing is, I said, do you believe in 6,000 years? And do you know what they believe? No? They believe man was 6,000 years, but the earth is the billions of years that the scientists say. They've compromised. And I said, well, when I first spoke to you, 20 odd years ago, I thought you were refreshing because you believed in 6,000 years instead of all the evolution. Now you've sort of taken a bit of both, haven't you? But why is that not consistent? To believe Genesis 1:1 isn't 6,000 years, and yet Adam is 6,000 years. How can we prove that?
It's ridiculous because
They said a day.
the
6 days.
No, all
the animals were born.
the day before, yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I can't.
No. But it's like, if we say day one was 1 billion years, Yom 1, day 1, we have to say Adam's day was billions of years. One can't be 24 hours and the other can't be 1 billion, can it? And if Adam's was 24 hours, and he lived X number of years, he would have had to have lived billions of years as well. And it just doesn't fit. You either accept it all, or nothing. I prefer an evolutionist in a way, because at least they're consistent. They believe everything evolved. To take one bit, you know, not the other, that's illogical. Right. Now, our other person was a man that used to be in Elim, Pentecostal, and he's now become more Hebrew roots. How many years did Jesus do his ministry?
3.5 years.
John says 3.5 years. What do you say, Pat?
3.5.
3.5. What do you say, Tony? Put you on the spot.
I'd go along with that.
Go along with that. What did Mark Elmer say in things it is now?
I can't remember now.
70 weeks, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Why is it not 70 weeks?
Because he started at 30 and you couldn't become a high priest until you were 30.
Yeah, we got a good starting point there. You had to be 30 to 50, didn't you?
Yeah. And he was 30 when he went out, and he died at 3.5 years later.
Yeah. Where can we get that 3.5 years later from? I was struggling with that for a while. I know, I heard this, but where can I prove that? Because we can't go to Daniel on the 70 weeks for the half a week, because it doesn't say.
No,
And that's what I always use.
but
The Antichrist gets the opposite, if you like. He gets the 3.5 at the end, but Jesus got the 3.5 years at the start of Christianity. But where can we prove that Jesus' ministry was 3.5 years? Approx.
go on.
Anything? Anybody? Well, if you start, Annie, please. We'll go to Luke 13:6.
He also spoke this parable. A certain man had a fig tree planted in his vineyard, and he came seeking fruit on it and found none. That 13:6.
And 7, please.
Then he said to the keeper of his vineyard, "Look, for 3 years I have come seeking fruit on this fig tree and find none. Cut it down. Why does it use up the ground?"
And the next verse.
But he answered and said to him, "Sir, let it alone this year also, until I dig around it and fertilize it. And it bears fruit, well, but if not, after that you can cut it down."
And then John, Mark 11:12, please.
Mark 11:12. Mark 11. On the morrow, when they were come from Bethany, he was hungry, and seeing a fig tree afar off, having leaves, he came, if haply he might find anything thereon. And when he came to it, he found nothing but leaves, for the time of figs was not yet. And Jesus answered and said unto it, "No man eat fruit of thee hereafter forever." And his disciples heard it.
So going back to verse 1, John, of that chapter Mark 11, chapter 11.
When they came to nigh to Jerusalem under Bethphage and Bethany at the Mount of Olives, he sendeth forth 2 of the disciples.
So that's just to get the picture of when this is. He's rode in on the 10th of Nisan on the donkey of the foal, donkey of the colt. And it's now, that's the end of the Levitical priesthood, isn't it? And he sees the fig tree there, and he curses the fig tree. Because what has he seen on it?
No fruit.
Leaves, leaves, plenty of rules, plenty of law, but there's no fruit, is there? No fruit, so he curses that. And what did he do the year before that Annie read? He said, 3 years, I think.
3 years.
I've been doing this.
Yeah.
Right, you can have 1 more year. Dig them out, fertilise it, and if there's no more fruit on it, that's it.
That's the parable.
That's the parable, isn't it?
Okay.
And there was no more fruit. Annie, again, happy?
Yeah.
Have you heard that before?
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, it says here.
It does.
Says in the verse,
It says
it
it.
says
That's
in the
how
Bible.
I read it, because I was going through this first
So, but
part.
it's not really as if you read it, it's not really specifically, it's all about how Jesus Christ, what I'm thinking is, if we're looking the specific answer of what we're, how long he's been here. So there's no specific. It's just only a parable.
It's a parable, isn't it?
Yeah. To be honest, Mark, this morning I was really thinking, when I got up, we really can't dig out God's amazing ways. It's all mystery.
Everything Jesus said was so
mystery.
clever, so deep,
It's
so
really
poignant.
mystery.
It's just there for us to find it, isn't it? If it doesn't make sense, it's because we don't understand it.
Yeah.
His first ministry and how he went round to pass over Jerusalem from the back of the old King James. And it does tie in. He does 3 circuits like this. He goes around preaching it. And it can't be 70 weeks because he got baptized just before this time of year. And he finished up around Nisan, around April as well. So it fits with that 3.5 year system. I mean, 70 weeks is only 1 year and less than 18 weeks, isn't it? Yeah? But that's what they were getting. How would you also prove that Jesus is coming back to rule on earth?
He said it.
An example being pardon me?
I just read it a while ago, and I can't find out
All right.
that
There's quite a few where he says
he's
he will
talking
come
about his coming.
and reign on earth for 1,000 years. One is, Tony reads out every week, do this until the bread and the wine,
Yeah.
until I return, he says, doesn't he?
In remembrance of me. Yeah.
There's another one that says we will rule and reign with him for 1,000 years.
Yes.
So this like invisible spirit, it's all spiritual, that isn't actually true. You know what I mean? He will come back to earth and rule and reign for 1,000 years. What was the other thing we were told? Tell me. Oh, the Sabbath. Do we have to keep the Sabbath?
No.
Why do you say no, John?
Because that was given to the Jews.
Yeah.
They had to, Jesus, it finished at Jesus.
Where can we prove that from?
Because he said,
The Lord
I'm not disagreeing with you.
no, he must, my friend.
Pause it a minute.
There's a verse that Jesus Christ, people were complaining, or what's that, the leaders of the,
Sanhedrin?
I can't think, but they're why you're picking something? It's a paraphrase. It's all about picking something for food during Sabbath day. And Jesus Christ said,
He said, if your child was born on the Friday, 8 days later, you'd have to circumcise him and take some flesh away. Surely if you can take flesh away on the Sabbath, I can heal on the Sabbath. That's what he meant. You know, you take away part of the flesh, I can restore flesh on the Sabbath. So he did do that, and then he did
another one.
he did the grinding and the what should you call it when they're in the field with the disciples.
Yeah, he healed on the Sabbath, and he said, basically, you know, the Lord is man of the Sabbath.
He's Lord of the Sabbath.
The Lord of the Sabbath.
Yeah. There is one in, he says, Lord, all these Gentiles are now coming in, or what, do we tell them they have to be circumcised? Do they have to observe the Sabbath? Where's that scripture? Is that in...
That's one, Acts 15.
That we should not trouble those from among the Gentiles who are turning to God, but that we write to them to abstain from things polluted by idols, from sexual immorality, from things strangled, and from blood.
Yeah, so if your food's been offered to like halal, like there was a big thing on that, wasn't there, a few years ago. But there's nothing there about they have to observe the Sabbath. It's there on verse 29 as well. If you can read that, Sheila, 28 and 29.
Of the same chapter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
For it seemed good to the Holy Ghost and to us to lay upon them no greater burden than these necessary things, that ye abstain from meats offered to idols, and from blood, and from things strangled, and from fornication, from which ye, if ye keep yourselves, ye shall do well. Fare ye well.
yeah. No greater burden. Give them no greater burden than this.
Exactly.
Were you successful?
Pardon? Was I?
Were you successful?
Well, he will go through it in Wavering one day, do you know what I mean? When we've got a rainy day. So he was open to have it discussed, but I don't think we should go back under the law. So the JW was easier to prove wrong because they got many things wrong, do you know what I mean? And they had their meetings based on reading the Watchtower question and answer. They don't read their Bibles well enough.
But the whole point of the Sabbath is a very important point from according to people.
Yeah.
Because they say you do not keep the Sabbath. But I don't need to, because that is Acts 15 is the four things that you have to abstain from.
Yeah, and he says no greater burden than
Yes.
this. Yeah. And you're of the devil, that's the papal seal.
That's the mark of
the papacy, yeah.
Paul says, when you meet
When they
on
met
the
the
first
first
day
day
of the week,
to collect the money and that for the
Yeah.
poor and the widows, yeah.
and that he actually pronounced it.
I mean, they preached in the synagogues as well on the Saturday, so in a way they did both, didn't they? You know what I mean? So, Tony, one more. Colossians, please. 2:16 or 15 to 16.
Sorry, Mark, didn't hear.
Colossians 2.
That's okay.
Sabbath is concerned.
What was the actual scripture?
Colossians 2, 15 to 16, yeah?
Yeah.
Right. Having discerned principalities and powers, he made a public spectacle of them, triumphing over them in it. So let no one judge you in food or in drink, or regarding a festival or a new moon or Sabbaths.
Yeah.
And the next verse, which is a shadow of things to come,
Which is a shadow.
but the body is Christ.
He told me that was written to people in the Colossian congregation that were pagans that were doing new moons to other gods, but I don't think that's what he's trying to say there. I think he's trying to say that has been dealt with, the new moon festivals, the Sabbath.
Yeah.
The reality is Christ.
It says here, which are a shadow of things to come, but the substance is of Christ.
Yeah. And then, Nancy, Mark 2:27, please. Mark 2:27.
Then the Sabbath was made for man, and not man for the Sabbath.
So what's he trying to get across there?
Well, the next verse, therefore the Son of Man is Lord also of the Sabbath.
So go back to verse 23.
He's fulfilled the law.
Mark 2:23.
Yeah, 2:23.
This is where the accusation was made.
Now it happened that he went through the grain fields on the Sabbath, and as they went, his disciples began to pluck the heads of grain.
So carry on down to where we Nancy.
And the Pharisees said to him, Look, why do they do what is not lawful on the Sabbath? But he said to them, have you never read what David did when he was in need and hungry, he and those with him? How he went into the house of God in the days of Abiathar, the high priest, and ate the showbread, which is not lawful to eat except for the priests, and also gave some to those who were with him. He said to them, the Sabbath was made for man, and not man for the Sabbath.
So it's for our benefit. They were hungry. They went and had the showbread, didn't they? The reason they didn't starve. So, don't be ridiculous. It was made for you, as a day of rest. And also, that day is to read this, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's to know, so we prayed earlier that people would know God better. Well, how do you get to know Him better?
Read the word.
Apart from prayer, you read His word, don't you?
Yeah.
Anyway, that was that all right.
You don't read that book though, Mark, that you got in your hand, because half of it's missing.
I couldn't believe the one that was missing. The whole of what was it? Mark 11:26, wasn't that?
But the same with the NIV and a number of
The NIV's bad. And so they're going out with the wrong gospel, they've got the wrong revelations, but we aren't doing either really, are we? We've got to put our hands up and say we need to be doing more as a church, as a body in this country.
Why they're allowed to knock on your door, and why we can't do that as a Christian?
You
You
can't.
know what I'm thinking about it? Why they're always knocking on your door, and then why we Christians can't do that? And I said to them, yes, I'm a Christian because I believe Jesus Christ died on the cross for you and me.